afternoon, this is Kimberly Green, and this video is for World Civilizations 2, History 112, Late Start 2 with April Birchfield. I'll go ahead and apologize if I read a little bit slow. I got new glasses, so I'm getting used to it. This video is about Alexander Humboldt's essay, Problems in Progress in Mexico. Problems in Progress in Mexico is an excerpt from his book, Political Essay on the Kingdoms of New Spain. Alexander Humboldt was a German scientist and explorer, and later on a geographer. He helped get a picture of the layout of the geography of Mexico and New Spain. And in Problems in Progress in Mexico, he detailed his travels to Mexico in 1800. It's an account of all of his travels. He mainly discusses the major economic inequalities and gives the geographical look. The work was mainly to give a look into what Mexico, New Spain, was like for non-Spanish Europeans. The laws of Spain prevented entry to all non-Spanish Europeans to the Spanish Empire. So no one knew what it looked like except Spanish Europeans. It also gives a look into how it was politically, economically, everything else before the Mexican Independence War began in 1810. So that was only 10 years later. It gives, as I've said before, it gives a detailed account of all his travels, his experience with the people, just things that he did. It was an accurate depiction, but it does contain a few biases. In his book excerpt or essay, it starts with a depiction of the inequality of the distribution of fortune, civilization, cultivation, and population, mainly due to geographical differences. From there, he goes on to give a description of how Mexican Indians were. That is where the biases start. He states in his work, who increases their poverty by litigious disposition and a restless, turbulent turn of mind. That is an opinion. That's not, an opinion is a bias. He also goes on to compare different sects of Mexican Indians, and he also uses the phrase to describe them physically, and how, in the same way as the very lowest of Indians are usually dressed. That is also a bias. He goes on from there to explain the economics of the Indians. He explains the unrest between the cultures and the immigrants, between the immigrants and the Mexican natives. The ending of the piece basically describes how it's developed, how education was implemented, and the new discoveries, trying to bring education and build it into a place where people could trade. It starts with the mines, people that have discovered stuff, taking things that Mexican natives have already were there, like hieroglyphics, just applying it. And he does speak of biases from the inhabitants of the remote provinces, that their biases towards the Spanish Europeans. And that's it. Thank you.